Monday Musing Mechanicum. Hello everyone. Mechanicum. Right. Well, we've got a few things to talk about tonight, but predominantly I want to talk about FORGEBANE. Pretty excited about the models, I have to say. Particularly the new knights. I've got a bunch of Mechanicum unmade in a box, and I was chatting to Sam the other day, and I was saying, okay, I want to get 4 armies done this year. So, quarter 1, Fire Slayers. Quarter 2, definitely get my Gene Stealer cult on the table. It's got to happen. It's just got to happen. And then quarter 3, it was going to be back to my Kharadron Overlords to get the Age of Sigmar in, and I didn't know what to do with the 4th quarter. And I think this box, although I'm hoping my enthusiasm hasn't waned by then, this box is definitely going to drive me into something I want to do. I might even have to change the order of Kharadron Overlords. I don't know. It'd be a crying shame, but I kind of figure I've got my Fire Slayers and my Sylvaneth. I've got some stuff to play, so we'll see. So I'm pretty excited about that. I hope you're all excited about that. I was... two things. Is everything okay on the stream? Because I had some technical issues just before I went live, and I don't know whether I am or aren't online, so hopefully everything's cool. Somebody let me know in the chat. But yeah, 2 things really. Besides being super excited about FORGEBANE's the box in terms of the models, and who can't get excited about that stuff, to be honest. Even the Necron players, I think, have got a little bit of love in there in the form of the Cryptek, which is good. And Wraiths are great models as well. They really could do with something bigger than a 40mm base, though. Come on, GW, stick them on a 50mm base, or even better, stick them on an oval base. And if you're a Necron player, throw those 40mm away. A model like that doesn't belong on 40mm. I know that from a gaming point of view it might help you, but there you go. I'm going to catch up on the chat in a bit. I'm not going to bang the table again because it probably just booms the microphone out, so sorry about that. I'm hoping we haven't got the weird clicking noise in the microphone. I found out what that was. My hobby room had got so cold that the metal on the boom arm for the microphone had frozen, and it was making a creaking noise at even the slightest of moves. So thanks to Sam, who patiently sat with me for about 45 minutes while I went, is that better? Is that better? Is that better? While I literally went through the whole setup, just disconnecting things, unplugging stuff, and starting again. So I think we've fixed that, which is all good news. The main thing I want to talk about really is value for money. So GW themselves say the box FORGEBANE is great value for money because they talk about the context of the models, and I want to talk about the models a little bit. I want to talk about the set a little bit, but they also say it advances the storyline. There is a scenario in there. Woof, don't get me started on what do they call it, Blackstone in this. Pretty excited about that. If anybody's listened to any of the Xenos and you know, the Inquisitor stuff, then you'll know all about that whole big chunk of black rock on Cadia. So pretty excited about all of that, but also the fact that there are dedicated games and rules contained within those sets. And I'm just wondering how many people out there are a bit like me. Do you, GW, really need to do that? Do they need to include a 40-page booklet on rules and background story and all the rest, or can you just give us a grand old start collecting set? I know it's kind of an excuse for them to put everything together into a box, but how many of us out there actually play these games? So that's what I'm looking for in the chat. Has anybody played Blight War? Has anybody even done anything with Overwatch other than paint the models up? What about the Knights, the Renegade set, the 2 Knights in a box? Did anybody play that? Did anybody play Gore Chosen? Did anybody open those boxes, or did you just go, that's 4 characters for like 25 quid or whatever Gore Chosen was? I think it was £40. That's such a bargain. I'm going to buy it from that perspective. But did anybody actually get the rules out and play them? You know, so we have the crossover board games, and we have these scenario games, which, you know, like Blight War. Did anybody do anything with it? And the only reason I ask that question is obviously it costs GW to make that stuff and add it to it, and maybe it adds to the attraction, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they could knock a £5 off the box set if they didn't bother with any of that stuff and just said, look, this is kind of like a start collecting with a friend set, you know. like I say, that's what I'm asking. Do people think there's more to it than just the models? Because everybody, straight away, as soon as this thing hit, was like, wow. I mean, obviously the opportunity of the new knights, but also the value that's represented of what's in the box. You know, from what we're seeing on the official posting, the core models alone will be more expensive to buy than the box set. Never mind about before you throw in the 2 new knights and the cryptek. So right, I want to catch up on chat for a bit first. So bear with me. I think we'll say a little hello to everybody. Before I catch up on chat, I'm just going to zoom down to everybody saying, is it okay? All is fine with the stream according to Coleman. Okay, right. Let's get back to the chat. It's Marty's been on there. Steve Forrest has been on there. The Book Devourer saying, I like money. Who doesn't like money? You know, it seems a reasonable thing to at least hold some desire towards in this modern age we live in. Coleman saying a up. Marty, you know what, there was a big chat between those guys. I'm not going to go through everything, but we were all having a chat of what you do or don't do before the stream starts, and what do you do when the stream starts. For instance, Reaper puts down his models during the game, which at first I went, oh wow, that's cool, because obviously Reaper 28 Grims decides this is enthralling stuff that he must pay full attention to. But no, it turns out he's got some writing to do, so he's just going to stop modelling for a bit and get on with his writing. I'm not offended in any way, by the way, Reaper. And I'm so sorry that our live bat report the week before last did such an appalling job for your Blood Ravens. Liam, he's inconsolable. We haven't been managed to calm Liam down since. There's been a lot of upset. But he promises to come back stronger and better. Derpimus Maximus is in there. And who else have we got? Apologies if I miss anyone in this track. So I do try my best, but I'm also trying to do it as quickly as possible. A lot of Reaper, a lot of Coleman. Mark Potter is in there. Mark, we need to talk. I need an opponent for a live bat rep. So Mark, the hour is now, and you're close enough, and you've offered. So get in touch with me after the show, please, Mark. We're going to be doing a live bat rep on Wednesday. It's going to be Age of Sigmar. What can I say? It's Stormcast Eternals versus ... depending on who I can line up as the opponent. So there you go. I did have an opponent lined up. They've just bailed on me, so we're trying to get one sorted in the meantime. Right, who else we got? Ralph. Ralph is in there. Hey, Ralph. Chatting to you after the show, if that's all right. We said we'd catch up, didn't we? Depimus Maximus. Oh, I think I've mentioned. Oh, there's a few people in there, but let's just jump down a bit, because usually everybody is wise and smart in these ways and joins in at the last minute. So Red Cuffs is in there. Christian Jensen saying evening all. Fellhate is saying hi. Hi Fellhate, how you doing? Paul Collier is in there. Dunny Woods saying hello. Hey Dunny, how you doing? It's good to see you again. Steve's Small World. Both a great name and good to see you in there. I need to stop my messaging stopping. Sam is showing us his beautiful... You know what? I'll leave it open, and I'll apologise if you get a ping every now and then. That's Sam showing us the beautiful work he's doing on his Beastman. So we all need to send beastie vibes to Sam to help us get his units complete on time. Steve Forrest saying, how is everyone doing? Well, I'm doing well. I don't know, but can't answer for everyone else, but we'll see. Paul Collier is in there. It's been a long day, nothing better than Monday Musing. Thank you very much, Paul. Me too. It was a long, tough day today. Won't go into the details, but it was a tough day. So it's nice to sit down and do a little bit of Monday Muse with you all. Fellhate. I smell a trim beard, heresy. It was indeed beard trimming time. It had just gone crazy. And the thing is, these sides recover so quickly. And I've got something special planned for the tournament. I'm not going to give you any kind of clue, but I've got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get there. So, and that's not a clue. Bear in mind that I'm taking these little chaps to the tournament. So there you go. Right, what else have we got? Reaper, do Blood Ravens as one of my armies. Well, you know, I think Liam's kind of got that. He just needs to expand the range a little bit, and he's done a nice job on those Blood Ravens. We'll definitely be featuring more of them on the channel without a chat. Binaric Rules, says Ralph Hummel. He's really up to his fluff, isn't he? He knows his stuff. Evening all, says Elster Nation. Scott is joining us. Hello, hope all is well. Yes, all is well. Thank you very much, Scott. I had a couple of weird tweaks in my back today, but that's not what made the day tough. Coleman reassuring me everything is fine with the stream. Furious George is live from the airport. First live show I've caught in ages, and yes, I'm excited for Forgebane because Necrons. Nice one, Furious George. It's good to hear from you again. I missed you. You put a message up on the forum saying you were off travelling, I think, and I missed you, didn't I? So it's great to catch you, even at the airport. Awesome stuff. That's awesome. Great stuff. And hope your travels are going well. Padra speaks. I'm happy about the new box set, but as an Admech player, I'm looking for the Questa Mechanicus rules in the new codex. Ooh, good point. Good point. And it should happen, shouldn't it? We should be seeing some of that stuff in the new codex. We can only hope so. That's going to be the exciting stuff, because one would assume that we're going to see some temporary rules or something. Simon saying hello. Jim Wilson saying, hey guys, how are we all tonight? Well, I'll not answer for everybody else, but I'm good. Furious George keeping an eye out for Sly Marbo down here in the Peruvian jungles. Haven't seen him yet, but I'm still as I'm still alive to tell the tale. You are well travelled, Mr. George. That's awesome. God Chosen. Here we go. We may have hit the stuff. God Chosen is a quality game. In fact, it was kind of like a prototype Shadespire. Oh, cool. I mean, it's sat up there. We bought it for the channel. Sam took the models away to do painting tutorials with, I think, and the box is sat there. So maybe we need to use some of these Wednesday live games. I was talking about it's difficult. Yeah, again, this should be a good one for the chat as well, about live bat reps versus maybe covering some of the box set games. Is that what should we be doing? Because they kind of play a bit better in a shorter space of time. Do live bat reps work for you? I mean, 1,000 points ran for like 2 hours. Yeah, it could be quicker. You know, those guys are both rusty on 40k, but even so, you're looking at quite a long time. So maybe that's something we could do. Grab some of these boxes and give them some light on the old internet. Chapter Master Valrak, so far for the models we know about Forgebane, has £91.50 worth of models. It's just incredible, isn't it? It's great stuff. That's what's impressive. And Chapter Master Valright, good to see you as ever. Great stuff on your channel, sir. Tuning in. I can rarely comment though. I know it sounds daft, but I watch on my iPad, and it's kind of like it's difficult to type, and it's always late when I'm catching your shows. But I'm there lurking in the background, Valright. Fellhate says bought the Betrayal at Calf, made them all Dark Angels. Well, there you go. That's what the models were for. So that was all about the models for you. And I suspect that's what a lot of stuff is about for you. Chapter, we don't know what the new Cryptek will cost on its own, but the new character's been £22.50, so you put money on that. That's up to 114. The only bit we don't know is the new Knights. Got around 40 quid each at least. I think you're probably looking at 50 quid, but we'll see. Exactly. It's going to be great value for money. I'll certainly be getting a set just to get the two Knights. And I dare say there'll be a million people saying exactly the same. But I am also keen on the Mechanicum, without a doubt. And I'm sure my brother can always make room for Necrons. He's always got room for Necrons in his army. Christian, I think Necrons got shifted with this. Admech gets Baby Knights. Necrons get a new Cryptek. Come on, G-dubs. Yeah, you know, that's the bane of Xenos, isn't it? You get one model, I'm afraid, but it's one model. At least you get that. You could have had the Eldar release where you got a model that had already been released. But you know, that's life. What else we got? Reaper 28 saying I'm watching and writing. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Reaper. And Epimus Maximus, to be honest, the real value is in the models. Maybe they need some exclusive art, fluff for the box. The scenarios and rules should come out CAGH as a download later. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, isn't it? I don't think anybody's looking at that box. I'd be surprised if anybody's looking at that box saying I can't wait for that new 40-page rule book. The question is, from GW's point of view, Most of the money is probably sank into the models. Most of the benefit of doing the release will be about getting people into new armies. I mean, there's a bunch of people going to boost their existing armies, but there's a bunch of people that are going to say, that's for me, I'm going to go for that, because it's a great get started set. People will go halves, people will split the content. But how many people are going to pull out the rule book? And this is the question, really, I suppose. And if they took it out, is it really going to make that much of a difference to the cost? And it loses a little bit in terms of its viability as a standalone product, I suppose. Right, Mark Potter says, a friend of mine bought Gore Chosen and we play it quite regular as a board game, but that's the only one so far. So there you go. There are people out there, Mr. Potter, playing them in particular. Depamus, I think we've covered that one. Scott says the printed materials at volume that they will be printing in is such a small part of the cost. The savings would be negligible. That's true. Although you still do have to, write the material and all the rest. But I don't think they spend weeks on that, do they? Could be wrong. Could be wrong. And I apologize if I've offended some hard slogging 40-page booklet writer out there who's put his life and soul into making this game feel alive. John Booth saying good evening. Steve Forrest saying ooh, and Wordforge Games saying yo yo. So hey, Wordforge Games, good to see you. Phil is going to shape his beard into a downward mohawk. It's the only way I could achieve a mohawk. Thank you very much, Coleman. You'll need more than 3 weeks to get the beard into Viking style plats, Phil. I don't know. I can do a lot in 3 weeks. I don't think they make ginger dye. I don't need ginger. It's orange, remember? A beard braid. It's awesome. The new box Forge Blade. This is from Luca Bastianello. So the new box Forge Blade, I buy it. Only cost the models, not cost of the rules. Sincerely, I prefer the game with separate manual if I'd want to play it. There you go. Frank Storm saying hello. I'm actually struggling to get to the bottom of the chat at the moment. Here we go. Live skirmish bat rep. Well worth it. And usually you are done in 30 minutes. Yeah, skirmish is one of the things we're considering. Personally, I'm more excited, and this is from Felhate, more excited about the new GW subscription magazine with models and paints than Forgebane. Oh, well, there you go. Great. My laptop will be doing an auto restart in 10 minutes, says the old boys. Well, we'll see you again soon. I'll still be here, I should imagine, by the time your laptop is restarted. We don't know the rules for... Daryl says we don't know the new rules for Cryptex, though. They might be tremendous. Exactly, this might be a special dude, it might be a special Cryptech, or it might be a special character, or it might be a combination of all of those things. Varrock did a nice vid about the new GW mag, if anyone's interested, says Phil. Hey, yep, true, I will check that out. I've not seen that yet. I agree, Phil. It's a great... This is from Christian. I agree, Phil. It's a great way for people to get involved in armies and a great cost too. 2 people, split box, boom. Mephos is in there as well. Awesome, Mephos. I must have missed your comment, so it's good to see you. Okay, let's have a look at what we're all talking about, because as we we need to look at this. So what's all the excitement about? I think for me, there's a couple of things in here. There is definitely some value in me, given how much I like the fluff, if you like, is the secret of Blackstone, a mysterious material with potential to neutralize the powers of chaos or even amplify it to a horrific degree. So again, going from the Black Library books around, the stuff on Cadia that made out of this mysterious Blackstone, the pylons, which they describe as essentially as a big monolith with weavy, tubey, threading holes going through them, that appears to be inert and stuff. I'm hoping it's kind of expanding on the lore of that a little bit. I know that there's definitely been some stuff where they've... it's in one of the books that I was reading recently, and I can't remember the name of it right now, so you'll have to excuse me, but... Give me a second. Let me see if I can find out. I think it's Hereticus, if I remember rightly. So yeah, it's Hereticus, the Eisenhorn model. I'm pretty certain in that there's a dude trying to make a artificial Necron pylon in an attempt close the gates of, or at least the Eye of Terror. At the time, this was before everything went wrong with the Maledictum. So yeah, interesting stuff. If they're kind of expanding that into it a little bit, and I think it's fair to say that the general consensus is the pylons on Cadia were very much Necron technology, done to mess around and shut down and control chaos. So it's cool. I'm pretty excited for them to be expanding that lore a little bit. So that's good for me. I'm pretty happy with that. But I think, like everybody else, you know, for me, it's going to be about the models. There's some beautiful models in there. You know, this is, okay, when it comes to the troops, fairly standard stuff. But, you know, to get the Wraiths in there, to get the new Cryptek, and to get the 2 Knights. I think if I was, not already into Mechanicum and have a bunch ready for making, I'd still be wanting to go the Mechanicum side of the deal. It feels like you're getting a better deal there, don't you? It'll be interesting to see. It's quite a small force as well. And what's interesting about this is if this is meant to be balanced in any way, relatively balanced as gameplay, which they definitely strive for. You know, you've got the core rules in there. This is not a board game. This is going to play out as a core set. And it does make you question how powerful these little knights are. You know, are they, a step up from the Sentinels, or, you know, because if these are meant to stick a chance against this, either the Cryptek is uber powerful, you know, and has some shenanigans to take these things out, or these things aren't that powerful. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on these two meant to represent a balanced unit? I know we've got, these guys are pretty tough, aren't they? I can't remember the name of them, and I apologise to any Necron player out there. Nope. Even though I've helped assemble and mess around a whole bunch of them with my brother, I still can't remember the name of those. But they are pretty tough. They're pretty tough in combat. But even so, yeah, if that's meant to be balanced. Okay, 3 of those. Take on 2 of those, maybe. We'll see. So what are your thoughts on that as well, about whether the game is going to be balanced at all? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because it would be great to be able to run the points upon these and find out how well that works. Come on, though. Isn't this amazing? And this was the next surprise for me, was to see these alongside, other models. So just have a look at that. You know, this is a standard dude stood there, you know, slightly behind it, so bring it forward. He stood at the front. I think I'm pretty certain that's a 50mm base that comes on. So what is that? That's a 100mm circle base. So this thing's standing, what, 5 inches tall? Maybe? Something like that. You know, if that's a 4 inches of base, flip that on its head, it's not much more than 4.5, 5 inches, is it? And that was the other surprise for me, is these are genuinely a lot smaller than I expected. So again, thoughts, people. Thoughts. What do you think to that stuff? Let's catch up on the chat and see where they're at. Oh, crikey. There's been a whole bunch of chat. Right, let's do... Scott says the rulebook is mostly for new people who are just starting the game. Again, just another way to get people into the game. That's right. It's a good way of attracting people, I suppose. And the fact that I think 2 people can look at this and say, well, I'll have that faction, you have that faction, and we can get into this. It's a good introductory set, especially if it represents such great value on the models. Furious George. Oh, a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, airport waiting. Depimus Maximus. Everybody's saying hello to Furious George. Sly Marbo, which, by the way, I know that there's a Sly Marbo sat on Sam's desk. So hopefully you'll see something with that, should he get out of his Brayherd conundrum. Depimus says, if Blackstones can amplify the powers of chaos, then do I smell Thousand Suns involvement? Well, that's the thing, is... certainly we're going to see, is this the start of a campaign? Is this, the start of a campaign package which opens up a whole bunch of another 2 factions? We've seen that before, where you open a campaign with 2 factions and then end with 2 additional factions. What else have we got on the Xenos releases? We've got the Dark Eldar and Tau coming. Are they going to be bundled into a faction release somehow? No, probably not. Wait, is it Tau that are already out at the moment? So... no, that's not going to happen. So that leaves us the Dark Eldar, maybe. Again, can't see that happening. So, but you're right. Are they going to take this, introduce more factions as it goes on? Would be cool. Certainly cool if they're going to do that. The bunch about not showering for a while. Let's not go there. Padre Speaks says, I have paint schemes ready for the knights, but I still think the Knight Codex will have house rules for things like melee, etc. Yeah, good point. Good point. Are they going to be playable? Well, we're going to see rules one way or another, and that's the exciting stuff, isn't it? It does make you wonder whether we're going to see... wait, no, the Mechanicum Codex has already dropped, hasn't it? So we'll have to see an update. So yeah, we'll probably see that within the Knights then, maybe. Right. Wait, what? Thousands of years in space and they introduce chaos inhibiting material now. Well, it's when it's needed. You always find these things when you need it the most. Have you ever lost your car keys? You only ever find them in the last place you look. Wargaming Online, do you think you will get a pilot for the Armageddon? Well, it's a good question, isn't it? I mean, it should be piloted. Will they release a model? It definitely is piloted. If you look, and I'm sure you've all seen this, you can see the little access hatch at the top. There's not one in the box set. It may be something that Forge World release, because I'm expecting Forge World to go potentially do lally with releasing additional weaponry and stuff like that, because we all know how popular the Knight Codex was. But what was interesting was Forge World's approach to the Knights so far was essentially to release full Knights. They didn't go the sort of Tau battle suit route. You know what? They've not done that for a while, have they? There's the Eldar Wraith Knight, which essentially got its own model. You get the plastic kit plus resin kits. You're not getting the resin parts on their own anymore, which in the past they've done. So yes, we probably see Forge World versions of these Knights very quickly. And I can imagine introduction into 30k as well, which would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Especially if we've got Dark Mechanicum coming along to 30k. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the Dark Mechanicum models for 30k, wow. The stuff that was released was just mind-bending. Right. As far as the Mechanicum are concerned, they're only now figuring out what it is and what it does. Yeah, well, they're not fast to take up new stuff, are they? Could it make Tau susceptible to chaos shenanigans? Who knows? Who knows? What happens if you take a bit of black stone and stick it in a Tau's head? Does that make him Necrony? Does that make him chaosy? Slippy Tiger says, hey all, what have you missed? Well, we're just chatting about the new box set, really. You know, going through what's going to be in it and where the value is for everybody. You know, is it as simple as the value in the models, or is there more to it? Are we excited about the advancement of the fluff and all the rest? ZDM 1976 just subscribed. Thank you very much, ZDM. Right, Furious George says, and this is, I'm sure the codex will be released around about the same time. Yeah, there you go. Depimus Maximus says, but if you stop looking for something when you find it, which means if you find it in the first place you look, it will always be the last place you look. I am acutely aware of that logic, Depimus Maximus, but thank you very much. You are Mechanicum embodied, applying such logic to my statement. It is indeed, if you were to continue looking after you found something, you are nothing short of a fool. Although I have walked around looking for my glasses once still wearing them, so one would argue I had my glasses right from the start. Didn't stop me looking. Okay. Well, what else have we got going off besides Forgebane then? You know, because like I say, there's not a huge amount of information around it at the moment. We can see it's a nice little set. There's some good models in there. It's definitely the way they're introducing the new Knights and the new Cryptek. No complaints from me at all. I think it's going to be great. I would definitely be thinking about picking the set up just so I can have those two Knights and mess around with them. I've actually got a secret surprise Knight that I've yet to introduce to the channel. We'll come back to that another day. But that's going to be fun. Maybe the day is getting closer. Decimus Maximus is laughing in toaster language. So there you go. What else have they announced? I mean, that's the thing, is we've seen a rush of stuff. As ever, the Forgebane, I think, came on the back of a leak. So we're seeing that wasn't necessarily planned for, I don't think. That was very much a question of, let's get some official content out there, which tends to happen, doesn't it? We're also seeing, obviously, the Tau stuff. So interesting little widgets going off there. You know, can't beat a bit of Tau, can you? So I know that Pink plays Tau, so you might see some Tau on the channel at some point. He was pretty well into painting his army, so hopefully that's something we can put forward soon. The Forge World pets, I thought this was pretty cool. If anyone's seeing that, even if you're not playing Necromunda, I think these are pretty cool little things that you could add to the game anyway, even if you did as crazy little characters. I would like the idea that they release some of these models and they can become accessories to your characters, if you like the idea of being able to do that. But I don't think that's what 8th edition is about, that level of customization. But it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. Well, yeah, good news for Patrick and Ralph and a whole bunch of other German fans of WGO as well, that there are 2 new Facebook pages coming in German. So you can have some native releases, native language releases for you guys, which is always good. Ralph, I'm sure you'll have a great time either correcting and or helping translate those things, who knows. Inquisitor Eisenhorn, if you haven't read any of the books like Xenos, Malleus, Hereticus, and there was the new book which I honestly can't remember the name of now, then you need to do so. They're amazing books, and it talks about my favourite Inquisitor character without a doubt, Eisenhorn. And it really goes into the design style and talks a little bit about the 54mm scale that came out of the Inquisitor game as well, and how they'd shifted it. This artwork was the main inspiration. There's a bit in there about how they adjusted the head to kind of make him look a little bit more ominous, if you like. But great stuff. If you haven't read the Eisenhorn stuff, you need to check it out. This was interesting. There was some chat on the Wargamer Online community Facebook group about the use of 3D print technology after one of my previous Monday Musings where I talked about 3D print tech. And this is really, really interesting, is the fact that you are definitely picking up 3D print texture on the model. The weird thing is I kind of read it as if it was intentional. There was something about adding texture to materials or something, which yeah, you could say that, or you could say that's definitely the sign of the layers from a 3D printer as it's been tipped on its axes and printed out. The reason the angles change is because I know from the model they're 2 separate pieces that have been 3D printed. So yeah, it's interesting. Bear in mind that we're talking about the feet of a model that's showing that texture up. So I don't think that's really that visible to the naked eye, but it is interesting to see how that's even showing on the washers and those kind of things. Is actually showing up. So interesting to see that, without doubt, 3D tech is being used to design pretty much all of these models, even fine cash releases and the rest. It's not terribly surprising, is it, anymore? I'd be surprised if GW even has anybody sculpting in the traditional sense on their payroll anymore. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I know they have people with the capability. The question is whether anybody does the hand sculpts anymore. That's a good question. Does anybody know that? So, I mean, a bunch of stuff showing up on the community. You know what's happening with Wargamer Online at the moment. Sam is neck deep in, getting his Brayherds done. I'm just going to see if I can find a sneak image. Am I allowed to show a sneak image of Sam's stuff? Didn't put this up on Facebook. He sent this as a message, but I don't mind. I'm going to show it and hope that Sam doesn't tell me off. That's how Sam's Brayherds are looking. So how stunning is that work? Look at this texture work and the skin. It's taking him about 30 minutes to do the highlighting on the skin of all of these. And Sam only has one quality. which is like top notch. So there you go. There's no toning it down with Sam. This is what they're coming out at. That's how they're going to get done. But can you blame him when he's doing that? Well, how does he even do eyes? I've definitely got convinced that Sam uses some kind of laser technology to make his eyes superior to everybody else. Okay, so what else have we got going off in the chat? I bought my first 40k set to start a Gene Stealer sculpt for Necromunda. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've seen the Gene Stealer cult rules, had a fun through them, pretty excited about it. As you know, my Gene Stealer cult is tantalizingly close to being done as an army. So hopefully you'll see that soon. And I do, we've got some nice stuff that's come to us as well. We've had some lovely scenery sent to us, which I'll be doing an unboxing and review over the next few days. So look out for that. And it's stunning stuff. And it's going up on Kickstarter in, I think, about a week's time. Maybe 2 weeks' time. I think about 2 weeks' time. So I'll put all of the details up on the website as soon as I've had a chance to have a proper play with it. At the moment I've unboxed it, worked out how it all goes together, and now I can kind of, I wanted to do a more informed unboxing rather than, hey, look at me taking stuff out of a box. I wanted to kind of talk about how the construction works and all the rest. So I've spent a bit of time getting to know that, and it's good stuff, and it's ideal for something like Necromunda. Eric Brown says my orcs will be looting the walkers, and why not, Eric Brown? Because orcs should loot everything. There isn't anything that shouldn't be lootable by an orc. You should take Magmadroth and loot it. You know what? How cool would that be? I'm not quite sure what you'd proxy it as, but why not? Why not? Furious George says, as far as the box set goes, it's nice to see Necrons finally getting some love, and GSC2, sick of them Space Marines. Gene Stealer Cult. When is Gene Stealer Cult getting some love? I assume you meant Mechanicum, but correct me if I'm wrong. Have I missed something about Gene Stealer Cult? Oh, unless, of course, you're referring to the fact that you can use them in Necromunda, which is no bad thing. No bad thing. Frost and Fist, I really want this set, though I don't really need another Tech Priest or more Rangers. I know, but there's nothing wrong with another Tech Priest and a few more Rangers. Big Mac Danskill, evening all. Sorry I'm late. I've been building some shelves for storage and display. I too need to put some shelves up, Big Mac. Definitely need to get them done at the weekend because I'm running out of storage. Daryl says, do you think the split Inquisition symbol on the Eisenhorn base is a hint of things to come? Well, they certainly focus on it, don't they? Eisenhorn, goodbye. You know, I don't know whether that's like a Dark Angels thing. You know, he's clearly, as they said, I think it's Hereticus, the third book, where they talk about, you know, his obsession with whether he has or hasn't crossed the line as it's described, and that is defined to him by some chaos cultist spirit trapped in a box. I don't want to give too much away from the books, but describes the idea of every Inquisitor at some point crosses the line. He clearly crosses the line, and they talk a little bit about in this article whether it's in the fact that he... Oh, Matt has just subscribed. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Whether it's about where he captures Cherubial, or whether it's when he hangs on to the book, or there's a whole bunch of stuff that is kind of like the fall from the puritanical approach he had into the radical, if you like. But just because he's gone radical doesn't mean he's gone rogue, has he? I mean, he's not over the edge yet. But there is something there, isn't there? Maybe it represents the split in his personality from one side to the other, I suppose. Because he definitely crosses a line, and I think it's Xenos which describes him in his early career as he sees himself as... He's not really Puritan, by the way. He's on the more relaxed side of Puritan, isn't he? I can't quite remember the name of it, but he's on the relaxed side of that, and just slowly gets dragged into the sort of the darker side of Inquisition, and it's all with good intent. I mean, that's the interesting thing, how many wrong things have been done throughout history, starting off with good intent, and I think that's what he does. And will he, won't he fall, or is that just the fact that it's something that represents the split, if you like, in his own history. I do like the fact that it's represented in the rules. I've bought the Eisenhorn model, by the way. I think it's absolutely delicious. And the fact that there is a set of rules that you can use for Eisenhorn, and you know, there's this unquestionable authority which you lose as soon as you pull the demon host onto the table. You gain a bunch of stuff from having the demon host on the table, of course. You know, in one of the stories, I know I definitely won't say that because that's a spoiler. In the third story, the demon host really does show its power. You know, check it out. But the idea that he loses his credibility, if you like, as he starts to do that stuff is great. Right. Furious George says, any cool stuff coming out of Phil's 3D printer soon? Well, you ask. I'm working on... There's a couple of things I've been working on. I'll tell you what, let me get the camera up so you can see what's been happening. Woo! Natu Barata has just... And Natu Barakata. Sorry, I made a mess of your name and then it disappeared. But thank you for subscribing. What's on the desk? What has been coming out of my 3D printer? Well, I'm still messing around with this prototype, and it is a prototype. One of the things I've decided, I'll be flicking these off. But I wanted more going off on the base than just lava. So this is, again, underneath here you'll notice there are actually little magnets. And the reason there's little magnets is, you know, should I get an A case or something similar to transport my models, then I can magnetize the model to it, which is all good stuff. But I wanted also something more features on. I've dropped little runes and stuff on there. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera or whether it would even focus if I attempted that. So I've dropped a few little runes and stuff on there as well when I added the texture. But I wanted something more, and I like the idea of these barbed bracken. I really like the fact it looks a little bit alien and a little bit odd, because I came up with the idea that there's a plant that actually nourishes on lava. There you go. It's fantasy, isn't it? It's high fantasy, so there's every reason, if you can have a magma trough that walks around drinking lava and doing whatever it does and sleeping in lava, you could definitely have a weird little plant that draws its nutrition from lava. So I decided to actually go and again, that's just about trying to get something a little bit different on the thing. The other thing is I came across, obviously, this is work in progress, so please forgive the painting there. I'll just literally block colouring in and those kind of things. But this dude stood on a skull, and it's definitely a skull. It's not a stone statue of a skull. It's a skull. It's got a little fracture in it, and it's hollow. So very, very last minute, I treated myself to a set of these. Whether I'm going to use them or not, I don't know. Possibly. I like the idea of having like a couple of the weird skulls, you know, resting there, maybe burnt and scorched, maybe even one floating in a pool of lava with a dark bit around it. What else has been going off? Well, I've been printing a dozen of these little things, and what these are basically is, if I can show you, for those of you who remember Sam's tutorial on adding corks to a base so you can use them in the Citadel holder, I always use these little crossbars to hold my models, and that's so I can get, you know, the idea of those is you can pop them out for starters and you can get really underneath the model and behind clothing and stuff that you can't do that when they're on a base. But I do like the idea that this gives me stability when I'm painting them. And I've used corks, but all the holes in my corks were wearing out. Between each sort of print anyway, I do a calibration print just to line up the print heads and stuff. And normally the calibration model is just a tube. You can see, look, where there's an error on that one, for instance, or you possibly can see it. I just, rather than made the calibration model just something you bin every time, I created a little tube which had a lid on top, which just happens to have a hole the right size for cocktail sticks, and it also has a little space for a magnet, which means when I'm working on my little dudes, I can have a little tray. In fact, I'll show you my tray. It's got a magnet snip inside, so there you go. And as I work from one side to the other, I just drop them over, and I don't have to worry about knocking this tray around. They're not, you know, they're not super attached, if you know what I mean, but it doesn't matter if I knock it around a bit. It doesn't fall over or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. So I've been printing those in between, and in between what, I hear you ask? Well, in between the lava bases. So this was a test. I'm still working on them. I've added a little bit more detail in. As you know, my printer's not really up to adding texture, so I paint the textures on later. But I really like the fact I've got this recess for the lava. And again, they've got a little recess that the magnet fits into, and I will be able to transport them, transport my army nice and safe into any tournament, hopefully. Oh, the other thing about the battle, you'll notice the little bevel bit at the bottom. Well, that's so they actually clip into these. So should I be working on a model and I just want that extra little bit of steadiness when I'm painting, doing little, you know, highlights and stuff. And again, these are only getting the base coats blocked in at the moment. A little bit of work on the skin, but you get the idea. I do have one that's a little bit further along, but I've no doubt lost him. So yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I don't even know where he's gone. But I have taken one a stage further, but subsequently lost him. So ignore that. So that's what I've been doing. In answer to your question, what have you been doing at the moment with your 3D printer? I can even, I think, here you go. Can I actually do this? Can we do this? Nope, that's not going to work. Hold on a second. Is that going to work? We'll try that. We'll come back to that. Oh, there you go. So that's my little printer working away right now. Busily making 9 new test models for the for bases, and it's actually not far off those 9 bases. Takes about 4 hours to print a dozen bases. I mean, I'm doing 9 at the moment because I'm running all sorts of different tests and stuff like that. And like I say, what I do is prime them, then I add the texture, little bits of details like skulls and plants and stuff like that, and then, you know, paint them up from there. So that's why I'm not too worried. It's only a cheap printer. I'm not too worried about the quality, because essentially, you know, I treat them as if they are just standard 32mm bases with a little bit of detail to get me going on them. That's how I see them. Let's catch up on the chat, see what's happening. Right. Furious George says, any cool stuff? Oh, we covered that. Elster Nation says, Simon Egan, who sculpts the Primarchs, does sculpting by hand. Well, there you go. That's great news. There's still somebody there. Well, I say it's great news. And there's nothing wrong, as I've said, with the 3D design stuff. But it's, you know, and by the way, if you sculpt those Primarchs by hand, seriously, you must have some kind of shrinking machine. How do you even do that? Frost and Fist, wow, incredible work by Sam. Yes, of course. What else does he do? All of his stuff is incredible. Steve says, found it. Stuck in my jeans. Back to building. I'm assuming you lost a part, Steve. I can only hope so. Fellhate, I heard Sam was the 11th Primarch, gifted with Big E's artistry. So he's literally all of the Emperor's artistry combined into one mighty being. Graham Rigg saying good evening all. C. Mawson, hey C. Mawson, how you doing? First, sorry I'm late. Second, I have my eyes set on a new box, as I have both Necrons and Admech army. Well, Christmas has come early for you, sir, hasn't it? Definitely. Because if you already do both of those armies, what a win-win. That's cool. Right, Daryl says, I'm more thinking larger scale, a full split in the Inquisition between supporting the High Lords and those supporting Guilliman. Oh, I like that. Yes, sorry, I didn't. I was thinking too small and too personal. Yeah, where's all that gonna go? Where's it gonna go? They seem to have not pushed it too far at the moment, do they? You know, are we going to see Imperium Secundus rise from the ashes, the unremembered empire? Interesting. Bear in mind that Guilliman has had a chat with his dad, and is supposedly doing his wishes. So anybody not following Guilliman right now is definitely going to feel bordering on heretical. So. Not that everybody's ever going to agree with him, certainly, and you'll see a power shift. Excuse me. And in any power shift, somebody's going to fight, aren't they? And there definitely is a power shift going off within the Imperium right now, as we know. Given the Imperium is a boost to Gilliman and his Space Marines, what kind of schism would certainly put stability of the Imperium on the brink again? Well, that's the thing. Although they're concentrating, I mean, it's certainly possible, isn't it? But they are concentrating on the enemy without more than the enemy within in terms of chaos, aren't they? It's very obvious with the rift and all the rest. We're not seeing much on chaos within, but saying that, you know, with all the cults and those kind of things, you might see a drive on that again. You know, I'd love to see genuine sort of chaos, renegade Astra Militarum rules. You know, something that's more than just you can use it in the codex. Something where the army actually plays different. You can imagine it, can't you? Just an entire model range, and you know, like with Genestealer Cult, you've got the upgrade sprue to take Astra Militarum models and bring them into Genestealer Cult with a little bit of different play. It's limited on the units because obviously you can add them as a genuine detachment. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. Ally, or there's some of the units that play as part of Genestealer Cult. It would be great to see an upgrade sprue again for Astra Militarium, which puts them into the back over to the Chaos Cultists whole planetary defense forces turn and those kind of things, and give them their own unique rules. Because the models are already there, it just gives you another fun way of playing them, wouldn't it? And maybe that would be an interesting place to take this, attack on the stability that's potentially coming around from the Imperium at the moment. Scott says, Phil, I think the plants are great looking on the base. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad I made that choice. I have to say I was a little bit in doubt about it, but I think the opportunity of bringing a little bit of colour, bear in mind that my beautiful orange-headed dwarves are going to be bouncing around those lovely lava bases, so they stand out lovely. I saw it as an opportunity to introduce some colours that would be difficult to do, some purples maybe. Bear in mind I can't see purple, but I always like a challenge. Even some greens, although I do think if something feeds off lava, then I'm going to have to think of something that's a little bit more, maybe not quite chlorophyll. But more working in some other way. I might have to do some research on deep sea weird plants or something to come up with some weird colour schemes. Or at the end of the day, I'm just going to daub them with purple and stick a wash on because I'm going to be really running out of time. Okay, I've got... did the stream stop or is it subpar in the South American internet? From Furious George letting you down. The stream is still on. I haven't seen a break in the stream. Apologies if it did. Derpimus Maximus, yay, but it's not like Gilliman and the Emperor did a press conference or anything. Good point. Who knows what was said? Who knows what was said? Supposedly the Custodes, though, so you'd like to think if they're following Gilliman, then he's probably in line, isn't there? C. Mawson, are you folks going to be attending ChillCon? Yes, we are. We definitely are. Looking forward to it. We've only got Walking Demigod's word for it. Good point. Andrew Buxton, hey guys, long time no chat. Well, good to see you again, Andrew, and welcome back to the chat. We are talking all things Imperial at the moment. Depimus Maximus, and a walking demigod who gave up the Emperor to try and start his own club at that. Well, that's heretical in its own right. Reaper says, could there be a civil war between chapters who see the new Primaris as heresy, and as their gene steed has been tampered with, and Gilliman's supporters? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? What are they going to do? Who knows? What are they going to do? What are they going to do with things like Space Wolves? They need to do something monumental with Space Wolves. I'd love to see Space Wolves... Oh, wait a minute. I was going to say I'd love to see Space Wolves refuse to use Primaris, but I think it's already been done, hasn't it? I think it's already accepted that they've taken them on, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I don't know why I feel like I've seen Space Wolf Primaris, but there you go, as in reference to them. Custodian Guard Dill says, Forgebane rumoured to be the same price as Dark Imperium. Then indeed it is a good deal, isn't it? Sleepy Tiger miniatures have always been modified, modeled larger, and then shrank for molds. I can't remember the device's name. No, I can't remember the name either. But they used to call. Did they used to call it thirds? I think, is that right? Is that what they called those masters? They called them 1/3 because they were like 3 times the size of what the actual model would be, if I remember rightly. But yeah, I suppose that is how they temper it down. There was this weird machine, wasn't there, for like engraving it down, where they traced the outline of the model and it reduced it down. Impressive stuff either way. I think they were called 1/3. I don't know. You're asking me to call stuff up from the deepest, darkest pits of my brain. Oh, what else have we got going off? Well, we got another subscriber. So that's Mickey. Hey, Mickey, thank you very much for subscribing. That's cool. That's great stuff. Actually, the YouTube channel's been doing pretty good at the moment. We're heading towards 10,000. We're chatting to Sam at the moment. We're going to try and do some kind of... We're going to do some kind of 10,000 giveaway. Still quite deciding on what the details are. I think when we hit around about the 9,500 mark, then we'll start talking about that. So we're a few off yet then. Sleepy Tiger. Oh, we covered that one. A Shrinker, says Reaper. Good name for it if it wasn't that. No, it wasn't the same machine as Honey. I Shrunk the Kids. Iron Hands, Dark Mechanicus. See a connection, says Ralph. No, I don't. I don't know what you mean by that, but you're always talking cryptic to me, Ralph. Space Wolves, Space Cats. I'm confused now. Russ comes back and a civil war is started from Scott. It would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Wait to get some green stuff to fix Vandus. Paint Relictor. Oh, nice paint, by the way, the Relictor Gold. I've been using that. Paul Collier says, I've seen people models of Space Wolf Primaris, but I'm not sure of the lore. Yeah, maybe I'm just getting mixed up with the fact that people have done it. And they called 3-ups, not 1/3. Thank you very much, Big Mac Danskell. I knew I could rely on somebody on the chat to come up with. I don't know. So it's 3-ups because it's 3 times the size of the original, I think, isn't it? I think that's where it came from. But what have we got? Need some more likes there, guys. Well, thank you very much if you do hit like. It always helps in spreading the word, so I appreciate that if you do. Ralph says 9,500. That's Friday, mate. It will not be Friday, but thank you very much for the shout of confidence. Right, okay then. We are at 3 minutes to 10. I've got a bunch of work to do. I'm gonna have to end the show on time tonight because, as you can see from the pot of stuff that's going, is this going to hold up? This is the first unit of 20. I think it is. Yes. Well, there's a few down there as well, as I showed. So let's just, if we pop that up there. That's the first unit of 20 in its entirety. I'm also working on my Shadespire team. I figured I'd get those done at the same time. So I want to play some Shadespire. Plus I thought it would be fun to kind of get into it. I'll also be using them in Skirmish as well, so I can get some, because I'm going to struggle to get some test games in before the tournament. I thought Skirmish was a great way of at least me getting familiar with the unit rules. So I will probably play Skirmish above and beyond Shadespire at the moment, but either way, getting some models done now to give me the opportunity to trial out a few games will be good. I need to get that unit done. That's the first 20. I've got another 20 unit to do. Then I've got 3 characters and a magma drop to get done. Oh wait, and the unit of 5 as well. So I've got quite a lot to do before the 23rd. So that's why I'm not going to be running over too much. Planning on doing a live bat rep on Wednesday again. We're trying out the next generation live bat rep, so there's a bunch of new funky stuff that I can treat you to if I can find the time to actually make it happen. But we will be doing things like turn trackers, score trackers. I think really sorted out the audio, but we'll need to do a test, because if we record locally everything's fine like it was with the last one, but when we went live we had sort of desync issues on audio and those kind of things. So I'm hoping that, again, for those of you who tune in to the live bat rep on Wednesday, please remember that it's not really about the battle. It's about us trying to get the technology working and streaming live. And I know that I'm relying on a bunch of friends of the channel essentially to help us get that right. I have considered running it as private and just providing everybody on a Monday Muse a link to it, but I think we're almost there. So hopefully it's still providing good fun. And I think the last one got a chunk of views, so, and there wasn't that many thumbs down, so I think a lot of people understood they were just along for the ride, really. Ah, right, okay, but surely Wolfen are heretical, says Paul Collier. Whoosh, it's a good point, isn't it? Although they're not chaos influenced, are they? Are they? Ooh, is that why they got a bit of Gene Steed messery? I don't think it was it? The Perrys still make 3-ups for their plastic range. Well, there you go. The Perry twins still doing that, and incredible sculptors, both of them. I'd love to interview one of those, or both of them actually, because they've been around for as long as I have, and certainly some of their early work is very much some of my favourite models. I was going to actually pull one out, but it's over there somewhere, and I don't want to go searching for it in the last 30 seconds of the show. Oh, right, okay, won't be there, sorry, says Reaper, for Wednesday. Never mind, mate, never mind. We'll make sure that you, we'll do another one in time. Paul Collier says, looking forward to the Bat Rep, love the last one, good. And DJ the Lucky One says, I'd like a game, Phil. Then email me, philmortz@wargameronline.com, or message me through the forum or through Facebook. Let me know when you're in the area. I am putting together a schedule for Wednesday Bat Reps. We're planning on doing one every odd Wednesday. So talking to local people, but also trying to get as many people as possible to come down for that. Ah, right. Darryl says, looking forward to it, Phil. I'm reliably told by she who shall not be named that TV will be out of bounds on Wednesday anyway. Well, there you go. Paul Keller, I don't know, the Ravens didn't perform at Reaper Grim. I know the Ravens didn't perform. Oh, yes. Well, they weren't. Yeah, we'll get there. Frost and Fists, of course, Phil. Surely you know the community just shows up to hang out with you awesome folks. The battle itself is secondary. It is a bit... I've coined a new phrase that I have to say I haven't seen it, and but no doubt we'll see it as soon as these words leave my mouth. We'll see them elsewhere. But chat rep, I think, is the Wednesday chat rep. So I think that's what I'm going to call it from now on. And there you go. Copyright WGO, unless of course somebody's already done it, or unless of course somebody's going to beat us to it before Wednesday and use that name. Doesn't really matter, but there you go. That's what I'm thinking. Right, that's it. We are at 10 o'clock. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. In fact, we're a little bit past 10 o'clock, a tiny bit past 10 o'clock. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know it's a bit rambly. Like I say, for me, it's a real question around where the value is in those sets. Without a doubt, I am excited about that set. I think it's pretty good. The content is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the advancement of the story. I'm looking forward to more detail on things like the Blackstone. All of that's good stuff because it enables us crazy creatives to come up with ideas and scenarios and terrain pieces. I mean, the first thing I want to make now is a true scale Cadian gate, Cadian pylon. And if I remember rightly, it's about a kilometre tall or something. So it's going to take a bit of work. It's going to, but it'd be cool. Some nice terrain pieces, which would really be nice for my brother's Necron army. One day you might see those in a bat rep. Who's to say? Okay, that's catchy. Chat rep, I like it, says Frost and Fist. Well, there you go, jolly good. And Daryl's saying good night to everybody, and I am indeed saying good night to everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the musing. It's mad rambling at the best. Like I say, there'll be a live show on live chat rep on Wednesday. I think Sam is filming some painting tutorials, but right now his focus is getting rightly so getting ready for the tournament, and he's up against it because he's doing Super Golden Demon beautiful models. So I don't think you'll see much from him. He's filming, but there's not much time to edit, so you'll probably see a Saturday show from him though, I'm guessing. So look out for that as well. Either way, good night all, and we will see you again soon. Thanks a lot for joining me. End credits. Where is it?